Sam Darnold, in his last 3 games against the Rams, completed 64% of his passes. He has 3 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 265 yards per game. He's 1-2 in those games, but he was electric in the fourth quarter and overtime. My problem with Sam Darnold is if you can get pressure on him, he will shrink. It's not just against the Rams. We saw it last year in Minnesota against the Lions. We also saw it few different times this year. Obviously, the Rams games, he had 6 turnovers. He was under pressure a lot in those games. Against Houston, he was under pressure a lot against Houston. It was that crazy 10 o'clock kickoff Monday Night Football game. 54% completion percentage, more turnovers than touchdowns against Houston. Against Minnesota, 54% completion percentage. They get a lot of pressure on the quarterback, more turnovers than touchdowns. If you get pressure on Sam Darnold, he will shrink. The San Francisco 49ers were bottom 3 in the NFL in pressure rate and sack percentage. They don't get any pressure. So, yeah, the offense looked good. A lot of it went through K9 as well. Kenneth Walker did rush for 100 yards the last time that he played the Rams, but I just think that this Rams offense is too good where Seattle's going to have to, they're going to need plays out of Sam Darnold. This Rams pass rush is too good. I don't think we're going to see the greatest game out of Sam Darnold against this Rams defense that has had his number, despite how he might have gotten rid of those demons in the fourth quarter and overtime on that Thursday Night Football game they played. I don't see it that way. I think Sam's in for a rough day here. Because if you get pressure on him, he shrinks. All that being said, Byron Young did not practice on Wednesday. He leads this Rams defensive line. Charles Cross also did not practice on Wednesday. He is the left tackle in Seattle. Those are a couple of injuries to for sure monitor. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. But the Seattle offensive line this year, if Charles Cross does play, it has been unbelievable. Considering to where it was last year, you got the 2 North Dakota State guys. Gray Zabel has been transcendent in the run game. He's great in pass protection. Him or Armand Membu have been unironically the best offensive rookies in the NFL this season. It's just they don't give linemen awards for anything. This offensive line in Seattle is the real deal. So if they can give Sam Darnold time against a very, very good Los Angeles Rams front 7, then Seattle should win this game. But Seattle's offensive line, as good as it has been, has not been able to slow down this Rams defensive line at all this year. Not that many teams have top 5 in sacks, top 10 in pressure rate. Kobe Turner, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Puna Ford. Shout out Nate Landman, too. That guy's a peanut punch machine. The weakness for LA is in the secondary with Emmanuel Forbes, Quentin Lake, Darius Williams, Cam Curl, Cam Kitchens. That's where the weaknesses lie. Not saying that they're bad players, but it's just if you can give quarterbacks time, big plays have been able to be found against this Rams secondary. Bryce Young cooked them in the first round of the playoff, right? So that's where the Seattle team has the upper hand offensively, and they were able to run the ball pretty effectively against LA, who does usually hold opposing offenses to inefficient days on the ground. They allowed 4.1 yards per carry in the regular season. That was bottom 10 in the league. JSN, Rashid Shaheed, Cooper Kupp, there will be areas, there will be opportunities for them deep down the field if Sam Darnold can be protected. He just has to hit them. And JSN did have pretty much, I think, close to 100 yards. I think at 95 and a touchdown the last time he played LA. He's unguardable, too. It doesn't matter who you put on him. Dial up a deep ball for Rashid Shaheed. Rams special teams have been a real problem. And that was evident in the first time that these two played when Rashid Shaheed took a punt return to the house. He also took off the opening kickoff against San Francisco back to the house. The Rams kicker, a little short, fat, chubby fuck. Sorry, that was rude for no reason to that guy. Can't remember his name right now. He was garbage in the regular season. He's been pretty good in the playoffs. I feel like he's been pretty good in the playoffs. But Rams special teams, they need to step it up. They could really screw themselves over. In a game like this against a Seattle team that is very good defensively, there will be little room for error. Whoever wins the special teams battle could very well win this game. Seattle easily has the upper hand based on what we've seen so far this season in terms of special teams. So LA needs to make sure they're not letting any big returns. They're winning the field position battle. That's a real area of concern. But overall, I just think Matthew Stafford and this offense is inevitable. Matthew Stafford threw for 460 yards and 3 touchdowns the last time he played Seattle without Devontae Adams. The Seahawks defense has allowed a touchdown on just 14% of its drives this season. That's the best in the NFL. They're number 2 in passing yards per play. They're number 2 in pass breakups. They're number 1 in yards allowed per catch. They're top 5 in passer rating allowed and interceptions. They're top 10 in completion percentage allowed and passing touchdowns allowed. Stafford threw for 460 and 3 touchdowns against that defense that is elite against the pass without Devontae Adams, his Hall of Fame wide receiver too. Puka Nacua had 200 yards. I understand how elite this Seahawks defense has been. This Rams passing attack is just too good. And they did have a tough game against Chicago. You can't dispute that. You can't overlook that. However, they still were able to pull out a W. And all we heard leading into that Chicago game was cold weather Stafford. The Rams aren't good in cold weather. Well, it's going to be 45 and sunny in Seattle at Lumen Field. Oh, also that game I mentioned where Stafford had 460 and 3 touchdowns on Thursday Night Football, that was in Lumen Field in December. Primetime game, playoff type atmosphere. I don't think he's going to be phased. Matthew Stafford and this Rams offense is too damn good, especially if it's not going to be 15 degrees below freezing, okay? Or below zero. Stafford is coming. He's cooked the Seahawks defense before. He can cook them again, and he did it without Devontae Adams. He's back in this game. And not that there's a weakness in the Seattle defense, but if there were one, it'd be Devin Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen in coverage. That's what it would be. Not that it's a real weakness, but that's what the weak. I trust their front seven to stop the run and get pressure more than I trust their secondary to hold up in coverage, especially against Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm all in on the Rams. They were my Super Bowl pick out of the NFC. I got the AFC completely incorrect. I had the Bills losing in the first round. I had the Patriots losing in the first round. I had the Broncos losing. Or no, I think I had the Broncos in the AFC Championship game, actually. Trying to think. Oh, no, I didn't. I had them losing in the second round. So I got the whole AFC wrong. The NFC is not that bad. I had the Rams coming out of the NFC. It's looking like that'll be the case. I think I had the Rams Seahawks in the division. Whatever. My predictions don't matter. They were all wrong, except for the Rams. That's all I'm holding on to. I think this will lead to a Super Bowl matchup between the Los Angeles Rams and the Denver Broncos. Rams win, Rams cover. Bad matchup for Sam Darnold and a bad matchup for the Seahawks defense that got cooked by the same Rams offense. Running the football is going to be hard for LA. And one of the main reasons Seattle was able to come back in that game was because of what they were able to do in the fourth quarter, stopping this rushing attack. They forced plenty of 3-and-outs, give Sam Darnold a chance. Not to mention they got the flukiest 2-point conversion of all time. But still, they forced 3-and-outs. They didn't allow that 4-minute offense to cook with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. The Rams do have a top 6 passing or rushing attack in terms of yards per carry, top 5 in yards. The Seahawks have one of the best run defenses in the NFL. So if the Rams struggle to get that 4-minute offense going, then I think they just need to stay aggressive and keep airing the football out and don't try and establish the run at that point, because that got them in trouble in the week 14 or week 15 Thursday Night Football matchup, because they got a few 3-and-outs. Seattle did, and that led to a comeback similar the first time these two played when Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions. They were up, I think they were up like, 21-3, 21-7 at halftime or whatever, and then the Seahawks just shut them down in the second half. McVay and the Rams are going to need to stay aggressive, keep stretching the ball down the field, keep leaning on Stafford, who needs to play his best game of the season, like he did on that Thursday Night Football game. It was his best game of the season. It just wasn't enough. Sam Darnold also, don't turn the ball over. Lean on Kenneth Walker, who did run for 100 yards on this Rams defense. They're not perfect against the run. They're better than average for sure. Top 10 in yards per carry allowed in the NFL. But you can still run the ball. You can still establish the run. K9 has been cooking recently. Lean on him. Keep the ball out of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold needs to keep the ball out of the harm's way, and Seattle has a chance in this game, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Give me the Rams. Give me the over 46.5. And then Sam Darnold's passing yards is 235.5. Over the last 3 games, even though he has not played well in the last 3 games, excluding the fourth quarter and overtime in the most recent meeting between Sam Darnold and the Rams, he still averages 265 yards. I think the Rams are going to be playing with a lead, which means that the Seahawks are going to have to pass the football. Give me Sam Darnold over 235.5 passing yards. Give me over 46.5. Rams plus 2.5. That's the slip. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Leave a comment on what you think, if you agree or disagree. And I'll talk to you guys later. If you're listening on the podcast,